Gaynor Hopkins, later known as Bonnie Tyler, was born on June 8, 1951, in the small village of Skewen, Wales. Her upbringing was simple, yet deeply musical. Her father, Clint Hopkins, worked in the coal mines, providing for a family of 6 children. Meanwhile, her mother, Elsa, was a devoted member of the church choir, bringing music into every corner of their home. Elsa's love for opera and church hymns inspired all her children, but young Gaynor seemed especially enchanted. From the early hours of the morning until late into the evening, the sound of music filled their modest home. They owned an old phonograph, and its records spun stories of powerful voices like Tina Turner and Janis Joplin, both of whom captivated Gaynor. These women became her idols, and she spent countless hours mimicking their voices, dreaming of someday standing on a stage of her own. Despite her passion for singing, Gaynor's early life followed a modest path. After finishing school, she began working at a local grocery store and later as a cashier at a supermarket. These jobs were practical, but deep down, she knew she was destined for something more. At the age of 17, she saw an opportunity to take a small step toward her dream: a local talent competition. The competition was a nerve-wracking experience, but it became a pivotal moment in her life. Gaynor sang "I Can't Stop Loving You" by Ray Charles and "Those Were the Days" by Mary Hopkin. Although she placed second, the applause and energy from the audience left her with an unshakable realization: music was her calling. In 1969, Gaynor joined a local band called Bob and Wayne and the Dixies as a backup singer. This experience gave her a taste of performing on stage, but after 2 years she decided it was time to step into the spotlight. She adopted the stage name Erin Davis, a combination of her nieces and aunts' names, and formed her own band, Imagination. Imagination became a familiar name in the bars and clubs of South Wales. They played energetic sets and built a small, loyal following. However, Gaynor realized that to make it in the music industry, she needed a name that would stand out and truly represent her. She drew inspiration from the Bible and chose Bonnie Tyler, a name she believed carried strength and charisma. In 1973, Gaynor's personal life also blossomed. At the age of 22, she married Robert Sullivan, a former judo champion and successful real estate agent. The couple's bond was strong, and Robert's support allowed Gaynor to focus entirely on her music career. Bonnie's turning point came 2 years later during a performance with Imagination. A talent scout named Roger Bell happened to walk into the bar, initially there to hear another singer. But when he heard Bonnie's powerful voice, he was captivated. Without hesitation, he approached her with an offer to record demos in London. This chance encounter led to a contract with RCA Records. Bonnie Tyler recorded her first single, My Johnny, in late 1975. While the song didn't make waves, it marked the beginning of her professional journey. Bonnie was determined not to let this minor setback discourage her. She knew her moment was just around the corner. After signing with RCA Records, Bonnie Tyler stepped into a world she had only dreamed of. Her journey from small-town clubs to the buzzing streets of London was both thrilling and overwhelming. Her first single, My Johnny, was released in 1975. Though the song didn't gain much traction, it was a critical learning experience. Bonnie realized that breaking into the music industry required not just talent, but also a unique identity that could capture the public's imagination. Determined to succeed, she poured her energy into her second single, Lost in France. Released in September 1976, the song carried a delicate blend of folk and pop that showcased Bonnie's distinct voice. It wasn't an instant hit, but it began to gain attention, particularly in the UK. Slowly but surely, radio stations started playing it, and audiences were drawn to its charm. The song eventually sold over 250,000 copies and stayed on the UK charts for 10 weeks. This marked Bonnie's first significant success and gave her a glimpse of what was possible. For Bonnie, the success of Lost in France was like stepping into a dream. She found herself performing on television shows, giving interviews, and hearing her voice on the radio. Yet, the life of an up-and-coming artist wasn't without challenges. Long hours in the studio, grueling promotional schedules, and the pressure to follow up her success began to weigh on her. But Bonnie was resilient, driven by the passion that had guided her since childhood. It was during this whirlwind period that Bonnie noticed something troubling. Her voice The very tool that had brought her this far began to feel different. She experienced discomfort in her throat, and her voice sounded strained during performances. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it was just fatigue from her hectic schedule. However, as the symptoms persisted, she sought medical advice. Doctors discovered that Bonnie had developed nodules on her vocal cords, a condition that required immediate surgery. The news was devastating. For someone whose career depended entirely on their voice, the thought of surgery and the potential risks it carried was terrifying. Still, there was no alternative. Bonnie underwent the procedure, followed by weeks of complete silence to allow her vocal cords to heal. But silence proved to be a challenge for Bonnie. Against medical advice, she began speaking prematurely, and the result was unexpected. Her voice, once clear and melodic, emerged rougher and more textured. Initially, she was heartbroken. She feared that her career might be over before it had truly begun. But soon, she realized that this new raspy quality was not a weakness, it was a unique gift. Bonnie's recovery from surgery marked a turning point in her career. What she initially saw as a setback became her greatest strength. Her new voice, raspy and raw, was unlike anything her fans or the industry had heard before. It carried an emotional depth that made every note resonate, and audiences were captivated. In 1977, Bonnie released "It's a Heartache," her first single with her transformed voice. The song was a revelation. Its melancholic lyrics and haunting melody paired perfectly with Bonnie's new vocal timbre, creating an unforgettable listening experience. The public response was immediate and overwhelming. "It's a Heartache" climbed the charts in the UK, reaching the top 5, and it wasn't long before it achieved international success. The song resonated across borders, becoming a hit in the United States, Canada, Australia, and much of Europe. In the US alone, it reached number 1, 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Critics praised Bonnie's voice, comparing it to iconic artists like Rod Stewart, whose gravelly tone shared similarities with her own. For Bonnie, this validation was a triumph. She had turned what could have been a career-ending event into the defining feature of her artistry. The success of "It's a Heartache" brought new opportunities. Bonnie found herself touring internationally, performing on some of the world's biggest stages. She appeared on television programs in countries she had only dreamed of visiting, and her name became synonymous with raw, emotional power. Fans adored her authenticity, and her performances often left audiences mesmerized. Behind the scenes, however, the pace of success was relentless. Bonnie was constantly on the road, moving from one city to the next. The long hours and demanding schedule took a toll, but she remained committed to her music and her fans. She knew that every performance was a chance to connect with people on a deeply emotional level, and she never took that for granted. While "It's a Heartache" was a milestone, Bonnie was acutely aware that the music industry was unforgiving. A single hit wasn't enough to sustain a career, and she needed to prove that she wasn't a one-hit wonder. This realization fueled her determination to keep evolving, experimenting with new sounds, and collaborating with talented songwriters and producers. Bonnie's journey had only just begun, and her breakthrough success was the foundation upon which she would build an extraordinary legacy. As Bonnie Tyler rode the wave of success brought by "It's a Heartache," she found herself at a pivotal crossroads in her career. While she had achieved significant recognition, she realized that her creative vision didn't fully align with her current record label. RCA Records was keen on maintaining her as a soft rock artist, but Bonnie felt she had much more to offer. She wanted to explore new sounds and reach even greater heights. In 1979, Bonnie made the bold decision not to renew her contract with RCA. It was a risk, but she was confident in her ability to carve out her own path. Around this time, she signed with Columbia Records, opening the door to a fresh chapter in her journey. Determined to reinvent herself, Bonnie sought out collaborations with innovative producers who could help her achieve a broader, more dynamic sound. One name stood out: Jim Steinman, the genius behind Meatloaf's legendary album Bat Out of Hell. Bonnie admired Steinman's theatrical and emotionally charged approach to music. When they finally connected, the chemistry was undeniable. Together, they began crafting songs that would not only redefine Bonnie's career, but also leave a lasting impact on the music industry. In 1983, Bonnie and Jim Steinman unveiled what would become the crown jewel of her career, Total Eclipse of the Heart. From the opening piano chords to the soaring operatic climax, the song was nothing short of a masterpiece. Steinman's dramatic composition paired with Bonnie's powerful, raspy voice created an experience that transcended music. It became an emotional journey. The song was an instant success, topping charts in the UK, the US, Australia, and beyond. At its peak, Total Eclipse of the Heart sold 80,000 copies per day and ultimately amassed over 8 million sales worldwide. It wasn't just a commercial triumph, it became a cultural phenomenon. The song's epic music video, directed by Russell Mulcahy, added to its mystique with gothic visuals and haunting imagery that perfectly matched its emotional intensity. Critics and fans alike hailed the track as a timeless classic, and it earned Bonnie a Grammy nomination. But perhaps the most profound impact of Total Eclipse of the Heart was how it cemented Bonnie Tyler as an icon. Her voice, already unique, now had a song that showcased its full power and emotion. For Bonnie, the success was surreal, a validation of all her risks and hard work. After the monumental success of Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie faced the challenge of maintaining her newfound stardom. Expectations were sky high, and the industry was watching to see if she could deliver another hit. Jim Steinman once again stepped in, crafting another unforgettable track, Holding Out for a Hero. Released as part of the Footloose soundtrack in 1984, Holding Out for a Hero was a high-energy anthem that showcased Bonnie's ability to deliver electrifying performances. The song's infectious beat and empowering lyrics resonated with audiences, propelling it to chart success. It became a staple in pop culture, featured in countless movies, commercials, and TV shows. The success of Holding Out for a Hero solidified Bonnie's reputation as a versatile artist. She was no longer defined by one song or one style. She had proven that her voice could adapt to a range of emotions and genres. Fans admired her resilience and willingness to evolve, and Bonnie herself was invigorated by the creative possibilities that lay ahead. By the late 1980s, Bonnie had established herself as a global superstar. Yet, the music industry is notoriously fickle, and staying relevant posed a constant challenge. While her collaborations with Steinman had produced unforgettable hits, Bonnie felt the need to explore new directions. She began working with other producers and experimenting with her sound. In 1988, Bonnie released the album Hide Your Heart, later retitled Notes from America in some regions. Though the album didn't achieve the commercial success of her earlier work, it included several tracks that would go on to have second lives as hits for other artists. For example, the title track, Hide Your Heart, became a major hit for Kiss, while The Best was famously covered by Tina Turner, becoming one of her signature songs. Despite these creative successes, Bonnie's popularity in the US and UK began to wane. However, she found a loyal fan base in Europe, particularly in Germany and Scandinavia, where her albums continued to perform well. Adapting to this shift, Bonnie relocated to Germany for a time, focusing on creating music that resonated with her European audience. Bonnie's ability to navigate these challenges was a testament to her resilience. She refused to be defined by past successes or industry trends, focusing instead on staying true to her artistry. Through it all, her voice remained her most powerful asset, a reminder of her journey and her unshakable determination. Behind the spotlight, Bonnie Tyler's personal life was marked by love, resilience, and quiet strength. In 1973, she married Robert Sullivan, a real estate entrepreneur and former judo champion who had even represented Great Britain in the Olympics. Their relationship was a source of stability for Bonnie as her career soared. Robert often stayed behind the scenes offering support while Bonnie navigated the highs and lows of fame. Bonnie and Robert shared dreams of starting a family, but life had other plans. After years of focusing on her career, Bonnie decided to prioritize motherhood in her late 30s. Sadly, she experienced a miscarriage, and subsequent attempts to conceive were unsuccessful. While the experience brought heartache, Bonnie's characteristic resilience shone through. She poured her love into her music, her fans, and the life she and Robert built together. The couple's bond was tested in 2014 when rumors emerged about Robert's alleged infidelity with a fan. The story attracted media attention, threatening to overshadow Bonnie's achievements. Yet, Bonnie chose forgiveness and discretion, reaffirming her commitment to the partnership they had built over decades. It was a reminder that even for icons, personal struggles are often hidden behind public personas. The 2014 scandal was a rare blemish on Bonnie Tyler's otherwise private life. The allegations involved Megan Pernat, a devoted fan who had built a website dedicated to Bonnie's career. According to reports, Megan developed a close relationship with both Bonnie and Robert, which eventually led to the controversial accusations. Megan gave detailed accounts of the alleged affair in interviews, fueling the tabloids. For someone as reserved as Bonnie, the public scrutiny was uncomfortable. However, she handled the situation with dignity, publicly supporting her husband while dismissing the claims as fabrications. Robert denied the allegations and the couple moved forward, choosing to focus on their shared history rather than the gossip. Despite the controversy, Bonnie remained steadfast in her career. She refused to let personal challenges derail her professional momentum. Instead, she used the experience to connect with her audience on a deeper level, often speaking about forgiveness and resilience in interviews. In 2013, Bonnie Tyler was invited to represent the United Kingdom at the Eurovision Song Contest with the song "Believe in Me." For an artist of her stature, the invitation was both an honor and a challenge. Eurovision is known for its eclectic performances, and Bonnie hoped to bring her signature style to the event while appealing to a new generation of fans. Her performance was well received, though the song placed 19th in the competition. Despite the outcome, Bonnie described the experience as unforgettable. She valued the opportunity to showcase her music to millions of viewers across Europe and beyond. The exposure reignited interest in her career, particularly among younger audiences unfamiliar with her earlier work. Around this time, Bonnie also began revisiting her classic hits, performing them with orchestras and on international tours. These performances highlighted her enduring appeal and reminded fans of the timelessness of her voice. While Bonnie Tyler's career brought her fame and fortune, she always remained grounded by a sense of responsibility to give back. Over the years, she became a passionate advocate for various charitable causes. She supported organizations dedicated to cancer research, AIDS awareness, and the fight against animal cruelty. Bonnie's compassion extended to children as well. She worked with groups aimed at helping underprivileged youth, often donating her time and resources to improve their lives. Her efforts earned her recognition not just as a talented artist, but as a caring individual committed to making a difference. One of Bonnie's most memorable philanthropic moments came during a fundraising event for cancer research. She performed an intimate set of her greatest hits, captivating the audience while raising substantial funds for the cause. For Bonnie, these moments were just as fulfilling as her chart-topping successes. Beyond music, Bonnie Tyler proved to be a savvy businesswoman. Over the years, she invested in real estate, acquiring properties across Europe and New Zealand. These included charming countryside homes, coastal retreats, and even a horse stable. Her most notable investment was in Portugal, where she owned a luxurious estate that became her sanctuary. Bonnie often spoke about her love for the region's tranquility, which provided a stark contrast to her bustling career. The property became a gathering place for family and friends, embodying her love for both connection and quiet moments. In addition to real estate, Bonnie explored other business ventures, using her earnings wisely to ensure financial security. Her ability to balance her artistic passions with practical investments highlighted a lesser-known side of her personality, one that valued stability and foresight. By the 2000s, Bonnie Tyler's influence on the music industry was undeniable. Her songs continued to inspire artists across genres, and her hits found new life through covers, remixes, and cinematic features. Tracks like "Total Eclipse of the Heart" and "Holding Out for a Hero" remained cultural staples, appearing in films, television shows, and advertisements. Bonnie often reflected on her legacy with humility. She credited her success to the fans who supported her and the collaborators who believed in her vision. For her, the most rewarding aspect of her career was the connection she forged with people around the world. To celebrate her achievements, Bonnie participated in special events and retrospectives, including performances with symphony orchestras that reimagined her greatest hits. These moments were a testament to the enduring power of her music and the profound impact of her voice. As the years passed, Bonnie Tyler proved that her passion for performing was as strong as ever. She embraced opportunities to revisit her classic hits, often performing them with fresh arrangements that brought new energy to her music. Her tours took her to countries all over the world, where fans eagerly flocked to see the iconic voice that had defined their youth. One of her most unique performances occurred in 2017 during a total solar eclipse. Aboard a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, Bonnie sang "Total Eclipse of the Heart" at the exact moment the sun disappeared behind the moon. The event was a global sensation, capturing the imaginations of fans and media alike. It was a testament to Bonnie's ability to remain relevant and to continually create unforgettable moments tied to her music. In her performances, Bonnie maintained a connection with her audience that felt personal and genuine. She would often share anecdotes from her career, revealing the stories behind her songs and offering glimpses into her life. These moments of vulnerability resonated deeply with fans, making her shows feel more like shared experiences than mere concerts. As Bonnie Tyler approached her 5th decade in the music industry, she began to reflect on the journey that had brought her to this point. In interviews, she often spoke about the challenges she faced and the lessons she learned along the way. From overcoming vocal cord surgery to navigating the highs and lows of fame, Bonnie's resilience was a recurring theme. She credited her longevity to her unwavering authenticity. "I've always sung from the heart," she would say. "That's why people connect with my music. It's real." This philosophy extended beyond her music and into her life, where she valued honesty and staying true to herself above all else. While she acknowledged the sacrifices that came with a life in the spotlight, Bonnie also expressed immense gratitude for the opportunities her career afforded her. Traveling the world, meeting fans from diverse cultures, and creating music that touched millions were blessings she never took for granted. Bonnie Tyler's influence on pop culture was undeniable. Her songs became synonymous with raw emotion and drama, often featured in films, television shows, and commercials. Tracks like "Total Eclipse of the Heart" and "Holding Out for a Hero" transcended their original contexts, becoming timeless anthems recognized by generations who weren't even born when they were first released. Filmmakers and advertisers frequently turned to Bonnie's music to evoke nostalgia or heighten emotional moments. Her voice, with its unique blend of strength and vulnerability, had a way of amplifying the intensity of any scene. From blockbuster movies to viral TikTok trends, her songs continued to captivate audiences and remain relevant in unexpected ways. Beyond her music, Bonnie herself became an icon. Her raspy voice, bold style, and unapologetic authenticity inspired countless artists, many of whom cited her as a major influence. Through her legacy, Bonnie's impact on pop culture extended far beyond her own recordings. Throughout her career, Bonnie Tyler was never afraid to collaborate with other artists. Her willingness to experiment with different styles and voices led to some of the most memorable moments in her discography. She worked with legends across genres, including Rod Stewart, Status Quo, and Meat Loaf, each collaboration adding new dimensions to her artistry. One of the most intriguing projects of her career was a duet with Andrea Bocelli. The song, titled "Vivo per Lei," or "Live for Love," was recorded but unfortunately never released due to complications between their record labels. Despite this, the collaboration symbolized Bonnie's ability to transcend genre boundaries and create music that resonated universally. Her collaborations weren't limited to the studio. On stage, Bonnie often invited fellow artists to join her for unforgettable live performances. These moments highlighted her generosity as a performer and her deep respect for the craft of music making. For Bonnie, music was always a shared experience, and her collaborations reflected this ethos. Beyond the powerful ballads and dramatic anthems, Bonnie Tyler remained at her core a humble and grounded individual. Fans often remarked on how approachable and genuine she was, whether on stage or during meet-and-greet events. Bonnie's warmth and humor were constants throughout her life, traits that endeared her to those who had the chance to meet her. One lesser-known aspect of Bonnie's personality was her deep appreciation for her roots. Despite her international fame, she frequently spoke about her love for her hometown in Wales. The rolling green hills and the small, close-knit community where she grew up were sources of inspiration and comfort. She credited her upbringing with instilling in her the resilience and work ethic that propelled her career. Bonnie also maintained a quiet but profound faith throughout her life. She often spoke about the role of spirituality in guiding her decisions and helping her through difficult times. For Bonnie, faith wasn't about grand gestures. It was a steady, personal source of strength that kept her grounded even as she achieved extraordinary success. As Bonnie Tyler entered her later years, she continued to defy expectations. While many artists from her era had stepped away from the spotlight, Bonnie embraced her role as a living legend. She released albums that, while not chart toppers, showcased her enduring talent and passion for music. Her 2019 album, Between the Earth and the Stars, was a testament to her artistic longevity, featuring collaborations with artists like Francis Rossi of Status Quo. Bonnie's tours also remained a cornerstone of her career. She performed for audiences spanning multiple generations, proving that her music had a timeless appeal. Fans who had grown up with her songs brought their children to her concerts, creating a bridge between eras. Bonnie herself found this connection deeply moving, often expressing her gratitude to those who had supported her for decades. Her enduring popularity wasn't just about nostalgia. Bonnie's voice and stage presence remained as captivating as ever, and her performances continued to draw glowing reviews. She proved that age was no barrier to artistic excellence, inspiring countless others to pursue their passions at any stage of life. Bonnie Tyler's legacy extended far beyond her music. She became a symbol of resilience, reinvention, and authenticity, qualities that resonated deeply with fans and fellow artists alike. Her influence could be seen in the work of younger musicians who drew inspiration from her distinctive voice and fearless approach to storytelling. While Bonnie achieved incredible success during her career, her most significant legacy lay in the emotional connection she forged with her audience. Her songs became soundtracks to pivotal moments in people's lives, offering comfort, strength, and catharsis. Fans often shared stories of how her music helped them through heartbreak, loss, or moments of doubt, a testament to the universal power of her artistry. Bonnie's philanthropic work also left a lasting impact. Her dedication to causes like cancer research, animal rights, and supporting underprivileged children reflected her belief in using her platform for good. Even as she enjoyed a life of comfort, she remained deeply committed to giving back, embodying the values she held dear. As Bonnie looked back on her extraordinary journey, she expressed only gratitude. For her, success wasn't about awards or accolades. It was about the joy of creating, the thrill of performing, and the love of her fans. Her story was one of triumph over adversity, a reminder that with passion and perseverance, anything is possible.